Hello everyone, welcome to the next lecture of Econ 122, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. In today's video we are going to discuss about our new topic, that is theory of firm, in which we are going to discuss the concept and market equilibrium under different types of markets. Okay, so let's begin with the equilibrium of the firm. Okay, so any firm, a firm is said to be in equilibrium when it has no incentive either to expand or to contract its output. It means they produce a constant quantity of output. Okay, it means they did not want to increase or decrease the quantity of output. Okay, so a firm would not like to change its level of output only when its total profit are the maximum. Okay, any firm which carry out the production activities, so that firm would not like to change its level of output when its total profits are maximum. Okay, so the rational entrepreneur will expand output if he thinks he can increase his output. He can increase his total profit by doing so, and likewise he will contract his output if he thinks he can avoid losses and thus increase his total profits. That's why main aim of the any entrepreneur is that to get maximum profits. Therefore, a firm is in equilibrium position when it is earning a maximum money profit. Okay, and at that point any particular firm did not want to either to expand or to contract its output. Okay, this is the equilibrium of the firm. Then there are few conditions of the firm's equilibrium. Okay, in that the entrepreneur, that is the owner of the firm, is rational. It means he wants to earn a maximum money profit. Okay, then he will be in equilibrium position at the level of output where his money profit is maximum. Okay, and what is meant by profits? The total revenue minus total cost. This is the profit. Okay, and the equilibrium condition, at the equilibrium condition the marginal cost is always equal to the marginal revenue. And another one, we can say the condition is there for the firm's equilibrium, that is MC, the marginal curve, the marginal cost curve, the marginal cost curve cuts marginal revenue curve from the below at the equilibrium point. Okay, so at the equilibrium point the marginal cost curve cuts the marginal revenue curve from the below. Okay, so with the help of this diagram we can easily understand the equilibrium of the firm. Okay, so here this is the equilibrium point where the difference between the total revenue and total cost is highest. Okay, so this point, M point, is the equilibrium point. Okay, where the difference between the total cost and total revenue is maximum. Okay, how we can get the profit of any firm? As I have told earlier, profits is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Okay, so in this figure this distance is higher as compared to other points on these curves. Okay, that's why this point is the equilibrium point for any particular firm. Okay, then next, with the help of marginal revenue and marginal cost we can understand the equilibrium point for the firm. Okay, so in this figure, this E point, this is the equilibrium point for any particular firm. Okay, where as we said in the condition, the marginal cost curve cuts the marginal revenue curve from below. Okay, so at in this figure, this marginal revenue curve, okay, marginal revenue curve is here and marginal cost curve is here. Okay, so this marginal cost curve cuts the marginal revenue curve from below at this equilibrium point. Okay, so this is the equilibrium point for any particular firm. Okay, where the firm earns maximum profit. This is about the equilibrium of firm. Then next point, which is related to the equilibrium of industry. Okay, what is the difference between firm and industry? This industry, when the number of firms come together, or we can say the group of number of firms is called as industry. Okay, so an industry is said to be in equilibrium when there is no tendency for its increase or decrease its output. As we have studied about the equilibrium in firm, there also the firm has no incentives either to expand or contract its output. Likewise, here in industry, the equilibrium when there is no tendency of it to increase or decrease its output. Okay, so it will have no tendency to expand or contract its output only when the demand for and supply of its product are in equilibrium. Okay, let's take an example. The demand for its product exceeds the supply. The output is bound to increase. Okay, if the demand for any particular product is exceeds the supply, it means output has to be bound to increase. Okay. On the other hand, if the supply is greater than the demand of its product, the supply will have to be contracted to restore the equilibrium between demand and supply. That's why, hence, equality between demand and supply for the product of industry is very essential if the industry is to be in equilibrium. Okay, that's why here we can see the demand, where the demand is equal to supply. This is the condition of equilibrium point of industry. Okay, so we know that the equilibrium of the firm does not determine the price under perfect competition. A firm operating under the perfect competition has to accept the price prevailing in the market, but it is the equilibrium of the industry as a whole that determines the price under perfect competition. Hence, we may say that the industry is in equilibrium at the level of output at which the quantity demanded of the quantity supplied of its products are equal, and that is at which the demand curve of the product of industry and its supply intersect each other. Okay, so this is the equilibrium of industry. And what are the conditions for the industry's equilibrium that we are going to discuss? In that first one, each and every firm should be in equilibrium. Okay, whatever the number of firms which are present in the particular industry, so that all the firms should be in equilibrium. It will happen as already explained at the output, where marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue, and marginal cost curve cuts the marginal revenue curve from below at the equilibrium point. Okay, this one is the first condition. Then industry as a whole should be in equilibrium. It means there should be no tendency of firms either to move into or out of the industry. Okay, this one is second condition. And third one is all the entrepreneurs, that is owners of the firm in the industry, are earning only normal profit. That is the profits which are just sufficient to induce them to stay in the industry. Okay, these are the three different conditions of the industry's equilibrium. Okay, so let's see one by one for the different market structures. Okay, in case of the perfect competition, the what is the equilibrium in short run? So the intersection of demand and supply curves determines the market equilibrium price and output. Okay. So, in a perfectly competitive market, given the market price and the individual firm can sell any quantity it wishes at the prevailing prices. And in case of the short run is the planning period during which the rate of output can be changed by intensive use of existing plant. Okay. So, this is happen in short run. Okay. So, next we are going to discuss about the equilibrium in short run with the help of total curve approach. Okay. So, in the total curve approach, a firm is in equilibrium when it has no tendency to change its level of output. That is, the firm needs neither expansion nor contraction. Okay. As we have discussed, in equilibrium, the firm maximizes its profit. Okay. So, the profit by the definition, the difference between the total revenue and the total cost is the profit. Okay. So, the perfectly competitive firm is in equilibrium when it produces the output that maximizes the difference between the total revenue and total cost. Okay. So, in this figure, the total revenue curve, this straight line, that is the total revenue curve, and total cost curve, this one is the total cost curve, okay, of a perfectly competitive firm are shown. Okay. So, the total revenue curve is a straight line with a positive slope passing through the origin, indicating that the price is constant for all levels of output. Okay. Since price is given for a firm in the perfect competition, if the firm produces nothing, the total revenue will be 0 at this point. If the firm produces nothing, at that time total revenue will be 0. The profit maximizing and the optimal output is determined where the vertical distance between the TR, that is total revenue, and total cost curve is greatest, that we have already discussed in case of the firm's equilibrium. Okay. Here at this point the distance between total cost and total revenue is greatest. Okay. So, the profit maximizing output is OQ up to this Q point. Okay. So, the profit earned by the firm will be reduced. Thus, the firm has no intention to change its output, and the equilibrium is a stable one. Okay. So, with the help of this total curve approach, we get this equilibrium point at a quantity OQ. Okay. So, next the marginal curve approach, in which we are going to discuss about the marginal cost curve and this marginal revenue curve. Okay. So, a firm in the perfect competition can sell any amount of good without affecting the price, and that is why therefore, the demand or average revenue curve is a horizontal line. This average revenue curve is marginal revenue curve. Okay. And we can call it as a demand curve also. Okay. So, it is horizontal line at the height of market price. This is OP is the market price. Why? Because in the perfect competition, price is homogeneous, or we can say the price is constant. Okay. So, under perfect competition, any additional output can be sold at the given market price, and hence the marginal revenue is also equal to the price. That is why this line MR, okay, we can call it as a price line also. Okay. So, accordingly, in the perfect competition, MR is equal to AR is equal to price. Okay. So, this is about the marginal curve. But what happened for the equilibrium of any particular firm in case of the marginal curve approach. The firm is in equilibrium at the level of output where MC, that is the marginal cost curve, intersects marginal revenue curve. Okay. If the firm's output is less than Q1, if the firm's output is less than Q1, the marginal revenue exceeds the marginal cost. This marginal revenue curve exceeds the marginal cost curve. Okay. And output must be expanded at that time. Okay. So, on the other hand, if the current output is more than Q1, if the current output is more than Q1, the marginal revenue is less than the marginal cost, and that is each additional unit of output cost more than the revenue received from that sale. Okay. Therefore, output must be reduced. Then by comparing marginal revenue and marginal cost, the firm can make a decision about the expansion, retention or the reduction of output. And the maximizing firm should increase its output when marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. When marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, the firms increase its output. Okay. And reduces its output when MR is less than MC, when MR is less than MC. From the after this B point, the firm has to reduce its output. Okay. And to get a maximum profit, the firms maintain the output when MR is equal to MC. It means OQ1, that quantity of output should be maintained by the firm to achieve the equilibrium point. Okay. This is about this is in case of short run. Okay. Then next, which is related to the long run. Okay. So, long run is the planning period during which a firm can make more adjustment than in short run. Okay. Any firm can make more adjustments in a long run. Okay. So, in a long run, the firm can adjust its plant capacity or scale of the operations. Therefore, all costs are variable in case of long run. Okay. So, firm must earn only normal profit. If the price is more than the long run average cost, the firm earns super normal profit, and which attracted by these profits, the new firms will enter the industry and supernormal profits will competed away. It means it again comes to the normal profit. Okay. So, with the help of this diagram, we can easily understand the equilibrium in long run. See, if the price is less than LAC, if the price is less than this one LAC, long run average cost, okay, firm incur loss, and some of the firms leave the industry so that no firm earns more than normal profit. Okay. So, if the price P, the firm makes supernormal profits. At the price P, the firm earns supernormal profits working with the plant whose cost is denoted by SAC, that is short run average cost. Okay. So, excess profits encourage the firm to build new capacity, and it will move along its LAC, it will move along with its LAC. Okay. And then attracted by excess profits, new firm enter the industry, and because of that, or you can say the consequently, the quantity supplied increases and the supply curve shifts to right here in this B figure. Okay. So, this supply curve shifts to the right. Okay. As a result of price fall, and it reaches the level of P1. Okay. As supply curve shifts to right side, the prices are getting fall, okay, and the price is getting up to P1, at which the firm and industry are in long run equilibrium. This point is the long run equilibrium for that particular firm. Okay. So, the condition for the long run equilibrium of the firm is that marginal cost equal to the price and the long run average cost. Okay. So, the condition of the long run equilibrium of the firm is that the marginal cost equals to the price and the long run average cost, that is the LAC. Okay. So, this point is the equilibrium point in case of the long run, okay, where it means long run marginal cost is equal to long run average cost is equal to price, okay. And at the equilibrium, the short run marginal cost, this short run marginal cost, this one here, the short run marginal cost is equal to the long run marginal cost. Short run marginal cost is equal to the long run marginal cost, and the short run average cost is equal to the long run average cost, and that is why we can call it as a short run marginal cost is equal to long run marginal cost is equal to long run average cost is equal to short run average cost is equal to P is equal to MR. Okay. This happens in equilibrium in long run in the perfect competition. Then next market structure, that is the monopoly. So, in the monopoly, equilibrium in short run, in monopoly where the homogeneous product is produced by only one seller or only one producer. Okay. So, in that case, the intention of the monopolist in maximizing the profit is achieved at the point of equality of MR is equal to MC, where MR is equal to MC. Okay. So, this point MR is equal to MC. Okay. So, the firm is in equilibrium by producing OQ quantity at PQ cost, PQ, or we can say the CO. In this A figure, the PQ quantity, PQ price or the OC price, okay, producing OQ quantity. Okay. So, at this equilibrium level of output, the profit of the firm under the monopoly is BCPA, this one, BCPA, this one. Okay. This portion is a profit which is earned by that particular firm. Okay. So, another possibility for the monopoly firm in a short run is that the price may be less than the average cost of production. The price may be less than the average cost of production, covering only the average variable cost of production. Okay. So, this situation is we can easily understand with the help of this figure B. Okay. So, the price OB in this figure B, the price OB, or we can call AQ, okay, is found to be lesser than the average cost. This price is found to be lesser than this average cost curve, okay, but covers the average variable cost, but it covers the average variable cost, this one, this average variable cost curve is tangential to at point A. Okay. So, the firms continue to operate in spite of the situation of price not covering average cost. So, the loss that the monopoly incurs consequently is BCPA. Okay. So, even in the monopoly, the shutdown point would be in the offing in case the price fails to cover even the average variable cost. Okay. So, when we come below to the this average variable cost, at that time the firm incurring the losses. Okay. So, this is the equilibrium in short run. Then what is in case of equilibrium in long run for the monopoly? So, in a monopoly, the entry of new firms is ruled out, still like a competing firm. It make all of efforts to adjust the supplies to change in demand or even cost that are likely to occur. Okay. So, even in the long run, monopolist will be in equilibrium by equating MC is equal to MR. Okay. Here again this condition is important, that is MC is equal to MR. Okay. This one MC is equal to MR. Okay. So, on the price front, it can be equal or more than average cost in the long run, but a monopolist generally opts the price to be more than long run average cost, so that it can be in a position to earn a super normal profit, and this aspect is given tremendous importance in the absence of the threat from any other firm to enter in the industry. So, as clear from this figure, the monopolist enjoys the supernormal profit of CBAP, okay, by producing the OQ quantity, or we can say the OQ output at OC price. Okay. Then this is firm's equilibrium position in the long run. Okay. So, this is about the monopoly in long run. Then next point, which is related to the monopolistic competition. Okay. So, in case of monopolistic competition, first we are going for the equilibrium in short run. So, under the monopolistic condition, each firm has a price of its own, but that danger of new firms entering into the business always lurks. So, if one firm earns a supernormal profit, it means that the supernormal profit of a firm are taken away by the entry of new firms, and similarly the subnormal profit driven out a firm from the existing business. Okay. The situation of the firm earning the supernormal profit is presented in the figure A. This one is the for supernormal profit, where MC and MR are equal at the point E. Here the MC, this MC and MR are equal at point E, which indicates the firm's equilibrium position. The output produced at this level of OQ and the price of OP. The supernormal profit is represented by BCPA. Okay. And the possibility of some firms driving supernormal profit and some other firms incurring losses is not ruled out in the short run. So, these possibilities are expected with the established firms charging higher prices. So, those firms which are relatively new to the trade may be satisfied with relatively lesser price, and the situation of the firm earning the only normal profit is given in this figure, that is B. Okay. So, in the figure B, the firm is just making normal profit at the point at an output level of OQ. Okay. At this level of output, AC and AR are equal. This AR and AC, this average cost curve. Okay. These two are equal. Okay. So, the firm that is incurring loss is shown in this figure C. So, here the firm is not able to cover its average cost. Here the firm is not able to cover its average cost, this average cost. Okay. So, hence incur losses. So, the price fixed at OP, the price fixed at OP to produce OQ covers only the AVC, covers only the this point AVC. Okay. So, the loss derived is to the extent of BCPA. Okay. So, the above situation indicates that the equilibrium of the firm is certainly a possibility, but for the group of firms as a whole, the equilibrium may likely to change. This is about the equilibrium in short run for the monopolist. Then next, that is the monopolistic competition in equilibrium in the long run, okay, where the stability in the equilibrium position of the firm as well as the group will be found in the long run. Okay, as we have told earlier, the guiding principle of price output policy is only the equality of marginal cost and marginal revenue. However, in the long run monopolistic competition, which is associated with the two situations, each firm plans to produce a given quantity of output and the aggregate production of all the firms makes the total supply in the market. Then for the industry to be in equilibrium, total supply should be equal to the total quantity demanded, and if the supply happens to be more, it will pull down the price level, in which case each firm has to make an adjustment with reference to the output and price to be obtained, which equals to the marginal cost and marginal revenue. Okay. And the other situation in the long run is the entry of new firm attracted by the supernormal profits earned by the existing firms. Their entry not only increases the supplies, but also new firms may fix prices at the lower level to have a more market shares. So, this also forces the existing firms to lower the prices, and this situation leads to the elimination of excess profits in the long run. And in this case, the chances of the firm incurring losses is a remote possibility in the long run, as those firms which are likely to get losses make an advance assessment and leave the industry because there is no restriction to do so. Okay. So, this condition we can easily understand with the help of this figure. It is clear that the equilibrium output is OQ, at which this LRMC, this LRMC, okay, this LRMC and LRMR, this LRMR, okay, are equal, and PQ is not only the price but also the long run average revenue. This PQ is not only the price but also the long run average revenue and the long run average cost of the firm also. And it is therefore clear that the firm earns only normal profit in the long run in case of the monopolistic competition. Okay. So, this is all about the theory of firms. Thank you.